Happy 2024, everyone. I'm actually putting this together a day or two, a day before, just because I don't know what condition I'll be in on New Year's Day. I don't plan on drinking or anything like that. In fact, I don't think I'm going to have any alcohol, and if I'm up after 12, it's probably to go pee. Okay, so this is a little interlude in the Ninjutsu podcast, basically to let you know what to expect. So, I got a few things, what was the emphasis? I mean, there's one that's basically interviews people in the Bunjikan, and it's quite good for that. Um, so I'm a little bit different. I'm going to be doing things that I think that people in the Bunjikan would be interested in, considering what they do and what their emphasis is. In case you didn't know, the Bujinkan is an organization in Japan. It's got 9 traditions. One of them is called Togakureru Ninjutsu. Yeah, Ninjutsu. And even though like 8 out of 9 of the stuff is not from that tradition, it gets all the press. So it's sometimes called, what we do is sometimes called ninjutsu, even though you're more likely to see something from Takagi Yoshinru Jujutsu than, well, from Togakureru Ninjutsu. But having said that, I do have a bit of experience and knowledge in ninjutsu. Um, if you know my qualifications, 15 years in Japan studying the art, got to the highest level of Japanese the Japanese government tests for. I've translated books like the Bansen Shukai, the Shoninki, and the Ninpiden into English. So yeah, I kind of know my stuff, right? Compared to, well, some people. Anyways, so there's a lot of things that people are interested in when they're in the Bujinkan, and I'm going to cover them as much as I want. One of the things, of course, would be history. I know a lot about history. Really love history. Always read a lot about it. And my first podcast, was on the history of the Kyoketsu Shogun, the Kusarigama. You're going to see more of that. You're also going to see some philosophy, but not too much because that tends to be a little bit preachy. Self-defense is going to be big, and in this, it's going to be not just limited to people in the Bunjinkan. I've got a lot of friends that have done a lot of violence and have seen a lot of violence. And they have lessons to pass on because they have seen things that, we do in action and can tell you if you do this, it works. And if you do that, it won't work. Some of them have had things that we do done on them. And they can tell you what the reaction is, what the reaction was. Yeah, some of these friends basically got their experience in violence by not being on the right side of the law. I mean, they're basically reformed thugs. They started out and they did a lot of violent things, and some of them, kind of explain away like, well, yeah, they would beat up people, because they didn't pay back the money, but you go to a loan shark knowing that's on the table. But they're reformed. They found religion, and now they want to help people. And it's kind of ironic because these guys, they basically have said that every morning they get up and say, I am a monster. I will not act like one today. And they consider themselves monsters. And I actually trust them more with like my kids than some of the people that are all like, I'm so good. I'm perfect. You know the types that I'm talking about. And, I am an atheist, and a lot of atheists flag religion. And a lot of people say that if your religion is the only reason why, you're not doing bad things, well, then you are a bad person. And yeah, these people admit they're bad people, and because of religion, they're trying to do good. And all I can say, knowing what these people are capable of, thank God for religion. I mean, I'm talking about guys that put more people in the hospital than the NFL. Yeah. So yeah, I'll have some of them on to talk and all that. I'll be all over the place. Gift giving in Japan. What's best to give the Japanese and how should you do it? Things like that. I might share some of my favorite izakaya, Japanese pub recipes, just so you can, have a taste of Japan. That's kind of rare outside of Japan. One thing one thing I am going to talk about, of course, is modern ninjutsu. And really, it's going to be more informative than instructive. It's like, a lot of people say they're modern ninja or they modernize ninjutsu. They are modern ninja. Yeah. Got a yellow belt in Bujinkan, served in the Navy, gives out tickets to make money for the city. Yeah. Okay. No. No. But they don't know what this is. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't know how to use this. I mean, they'll probably Google it afterwards, but they have no idea what this is as I pull this up. And yeah, well, if you don't consider yourself a modern ninja, well, okay, fine. If you did this for self-defense, why should you know this? I mean, what could you do with this? I mean, I play Doom on it. Okay. But yeah, but like, if I put together stuff about modern ninjutsu, it's going to be more along the lines of like, if you watch a documentary on cowboys, you learn about cowboys. You don't learn how to be a cowboy. So the stuff about modern ninjas is going to be more about something like this. It's called the Flipper Zero, by the way, and you can Google it. And it's going to be kind of interesting when I go around like, beep, oh, beep, okay. It's going to be interesting. Trust me on this. This is really fun to play with, and not just for Doom. And there is Doom on it. But yeah, so that's kind of modern ninjutsu stuff. I might make an exception for the modern ninjutsu type stuff when we get into OSINT. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence. And back when I first joined the military, back when we still had sea rats, it was stuff like reading newspapers from the Soviet Union. And it's amazing what you can piece together just from the information that they throw out there. In one of Tom Clancy's novels, he has this whole thing where they start with an article about the reshuffling of a regional command in the military and a few other things, and from that the characters are basically saying, oh, that's what's going on behind the curtains of the halls of power in the Kremlin. Yeah, of course with the internet, there's a whole lot of other things that you can basically find about people or find about things. One app that I'm fooling with right now, it's basically free to get, and free trial, but you can basically punch in somebody's address or the location of address, and it will go to public records and find out immediately who owns that property. Yeah, stuff like that. That I might throw out there. One of the things that I'm kind of trying to find a justification for, some of the guys that I know of, and I really respect, and they're really good people, are the guys that do the Skull games. And well, yeah, it's games, but it's serious. It's basically a friendly competition to find out who can find the most trafficked females and rescue them. We're talking children, okay? And they use OSINT, and and I'm debating, giving too much about things away. It's out there, but I don't want to make it obvious. Is it already out there? Like if somebody posts a picture on one of these sites, sex for money, known for it, and it's obviously an underage child, these guys will basically find out from the photo and everything else what they can, and then turn it over to law enforcement, and they'll hopefully rescue the kid, and even better, rescue the kid and nail the pimp and send him to prison. And I just feel so good about this that I want to make something like it, just honoring them, because they really do a lot of good things. But I don't know. I don't know if I can stretch that out for a podcast called Ninjutsu. Let me know what you think. I'm planning on coming out with this, the second and fourth Monday of every month. I'm usually free Sunday night, and last minute, putting things together might be nice, but I'm not firm. If I start running out of information, then I'll probably go to 1 month. I'm not doing this to, really establish myself or make money. I'm just trying to put information out there to counter the floods of disinformation and just absolute BS being put out by people who can't be bothered to become an instructor before they make their own martial arts systems or whatever. The internet is just, well, I don't have to explain. So yeah, I'm asking, if you have something you want to be seen, covered, or if you have suggestions, or if you have some skills or something like that you may be able to teach me to make this better, there's a comment section. Please chime in on the comment section and let me know, and I'll consider things. No promises, but I do want feedback. I do want to know what are questions. One thing that I do have a few episodes that I've already put together just in case I get sick one week and I can't do something. I can reach into it and put it. And I've got a suggestion for other things like the efficiency. How efficient is Bujinkan in terms of martial arts? Which is actually the way I'm doing it is, well, are you talking about martial arts or self-defense? Difference there, and that's going to be an interesting podcast, I think. But just a bit of warning, if you're crazy, don't bother responding. There's a nice little feature that says, hide user from channel. And if you come in with some trollish screed about lizard people, I'll just hit it, and you can type things to your heart's content, and you'll see it, but nobody else will. I don't deal with crazy too well. You know, crazy people will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. So yeah, so if you're serious, chime in. If not, well, you were warned. But for 2024, I hope to get out a lot of information to kind of limit the amount of disgust I have when I look on the internet. That's my prime motivation. I mean, there's people out there talking about the most bizarre things. And I just saw a podcast where some guy who should not say anything was just going on about what the ninja were and all that. I'm like, no, no, no. This is a counter. And I'm going to have fun. And some of the stories that my friends tell, the ones that have a lot of violence, are going to be interesting, but they're not safe for work. If I can get the guy that tells the Nick and Neanderthal story, yeah, I will. That's informative, but hard to explain. So that's it. I hope everyone has a safe and sound 2024, and we shall see you the next time I put out a podcast. Good day.